Why your 20s are the best time to invest. First and foremost, everyone should know that investment takes a very long time to build and show any return. This is why it's essential to start when we are young. This is why your 20s are the best time to invest. This sounds obvious. However, what if you are younger or older? What if you're a teenager or already in your 30s? First, if you are a teenager and are interested in this video, it is honorable to me that you have this mindset from such a young age. With that being said, I want you to keep learning, grinding, and following your dream. Do not give up until you find something that gives better results. Second, if you are in your 30s and older watching this, I am honored that someone who has more experience in life than me chose to watch my video at this moment. Now going back to the reason why I choose the age range of 20s rather than others, because we are easier to be influenced. Why do I think people who are in their 20s are more likely to be influenced than teenagers and older? Let me begin with teenagers or younger. This age ranges from the time we are born to 18 years old. The only reason why we should not invest at this age is because of priority. This is the age when we should focus on school and learn the very basics of math, English, and much more. Because without the basics, we would not know how to count our money to invest. Without the basics, we will be illiterate and will not be able to read about many crucial knowledge. After you learn about the basics, investing should be your next step. With this being mentioned, applying for college is one of the first investments you will make. The truth is that college is not a demand anymore like high school. However, it's more of a recommendation now. The truth is that college is one of the most well-known routes to take after high school. I will give myself as an example. I enlisted in the army right after high school. Why would I do such a thing? Do I want to fight in war and be violent? I would like to answer this question by saying that I should be capable of fighting in war and able to be violent when needed. I used the military as a huge stepping stone for me, and it has awarded me that so far. This is why the military is my beginning investment. The reason why I believe this is because investment does not only count our money but also our time. The military has controlled my time so much. However, I believe it gave out a very high reward for the strict lifestyle so far. Next, why do I not mention people who are in their 30s and older? The fact is that older people will be harder to be influenced than people who are in their 20s. This is because older people have built experiences and habits that will be harder to break. People in their 30s should already have some investments that are giving them some return already. These investments include their possession like cars and houses to their career. The only thing that they should prioritize in investing now is their debt elimination process. Their house has a mortgage for 15 and 30 years. Their car will have an average loan term of 5 years. Some people even have credit card debt that is more than $5,000. To eliminate debt the right way, there are two strategies. To pay the less amount of debt account first, then carry on to the next less amount account. The second strategy is to pay off the highest interest rate. This will mostly be the credit card payment. After they have paid off their debt, they should have an emergency fund. This is about 6 months of their income saved up. With this being said, people who are in their 30s should focus mostly on their security the most. People in their 20s should take on more risk. However, before that, they need to know how to take risk the right way. This is about gaining knowledge and strategizing. In the next chapters, this is what we will be focusing on. Why time in the market matters the most is mentioned before. Investing will take a very long time. Experts found out that it will take about 7 years to reach $100,000, only if they can invest $1,000 each month. Not everyone can invest $1,000 every month, especially if they are in a lot of debt. That is why we need to know all the strategies for having a high rate of saving and not having too many debts. One of the best investments is the stock market. Every investment is long-term, however, the stock market is one of the most secure investments in the economy. The reason is because it represents the economy itself. With this being said, this is the best strategy for long-term investment in the stock market. This strategy is called dollar cost averaging, investing equal amounts of money at regular intervals, regardless of the price of a security. I'm following this style of investment because of the compound effect. As a 21-year-old full-time soldier and part-time student, I'm investing $400 per month. Now, depositing money in a brokerage account is not investing. We need to find a good ETF stock to invest our money into for long-term gain. The reason for this is that ETF, an exchange-traded fund, is a pooled investment security that can be bought and sold like an individual stock. Many well-known ETFs track the performance of the top 500 companies in the United States. This is why the stock market represents the US and even the world economy. Going back to compound effect, I also investing in a dividend yield focus ETF. The more I invest, the more dividend it will pay me at the end of each quarter. Investing early can also apply to real estate investment. Matter of fact, instead of buying a single-family home to live in, There is a strategy to buy multifamily houses. This is called house hacking. Rent one building and live in the other. This investment will need more capital. However, it will give a higher return monthly. With that being said, how can we gain this capital? We can gain this capital by saving a down payment or using a VA loan. This is why we should have a good credit score, to have the best interest rate and an easier application. With this being said, how do we obtain a good credit score? The next chapter will talk about this achievement through habits and ability. Habits and ability take time. It's vital to understand that habits and ability will take time. One of the reasons is through the distraction of the environment. The endless amount of consumption will take over your life if you do not control it yourself. Before that, you must perform self-reflection and self-realization before it is too late. Before anything else, why are habits and abilities so important? The truth is that if you do not grow with time, the markets will eventually leave you behind. I might sound symbolic right now. However, this is an epidemic. This is a warning to every young person today. We must be healthier, wealthier, and wiser little by little every day. One of the fastest techniques to do this is by increasing your credit score. What is a credit score good for? I believe credit score is only a performance grade that will be given to everyone on how well they can manage their finance. A credit score is also known for an individual borrowing power. This is about how much they can borrow, how easily they can borrow, and how little they need to pay regularly when borrowing money. With this being mentioned, right now I'm not talking about this. Right now I'm talking about credit cards. The reason why I'm focusing on credit cards but not borrowing money right now is because borrowing money, like applying for a loan, is another strategy entirely. This strategy is a lot riskier than having a credit card. This is why a credit card will always be the start of the journey. So you can gain habits and the ability to actually borrow a huge loan in the future to leverage your wealth. This is all about cash flow management. To manage the cloudage of debt in the monthly income so you have the money for the other expenses. There is a saying, when you say yes to one thing, you are saying no to everything else. This means that if you have too much debt, your partial percentage of your income will be used for debt and not many other things you want to buy. I also applied for and used the credit cards for their reward points. With these points, I can eventually save a lot of money in the future if I live frugally now and use my credit card wisely. Personal brand starts when you train. What is personal brand and why is this so essential for investing early in life? A personal brand is the widely recognized and consistent perception of an individual based on their experience, expertise, competencies, actions, and achievements. With this definition, it's understandable to realize that personal branding will take time. How much time do we actually need? A bachelor's degree takes 4 years to achieve. Everybody knows that it's part of their personal brand. However, the harsh reality is that not everyone who invested in their degree can't find a job. Why is this happening? It will always be the simple answer of supply and demand. Too many young people are applying for the job with a college degree. However, there are only so many slots open. It is great for the few who are able to get the slots, but what will the rest going to do? At that exact moment, they will be either unemployed and keep on looking for a job, or apply for a minimum wage job and still be looking for a job that matches their degree. This is the reason why adults find other solutions to make a living. What other solutions am I talking about? Many young adults choose to join the military, first responders, or the trade industry. These occupations are very risky, but can yield a very high return. Sometimes many of these jobs require the worker to surpass 40 hours work week. From my experience, as a military service personnel, you will sometimes work overtime without overtime pay. Instead of a 40-hour work week, military personnel will be in service for all 24 hours of the day. Why is this the case? Impression and representation will always be the foundation of personal branding. Many servicemen and women indeed hate many of these demanding decision-making from the chain of command. This is the reason why many people choose to get out of service after their first contract. They want to have a better and freer life down the line. With this being said, let's go back to the foundation of personal branding. Impression and representation. Impression is an idea, feeling, or opinion about something or someone, especially one formed without conscious thought or on the basis of little evidence. Representation is the description or portrayal of someone or something in a particular way or as being of a certain nature. With these definitions being mentioned, impression and representation are all about trust. This is also the reason why many people in their 20s are trying to build their status through social media. The reality is that trustworthiness is the backbone of social media. This is why cancel culture and cult-like culture exist. Being a social media content creator and influencer can be a side hustle until you can make a living on your own. This is why people need to be confident and competent to build their own personal brand. Your 30s is the messy middle. Here is another reason why I want to start early and invest in my early 20s instead of wasting it. The reason is because I want to prepare for the future. Your 30s is the messy middle. What is the messy middle, you may ask? Based on the Money Guy show, the messy middle is what we call that period in between high school or college and middle age. It's when your responsibilities and obligations are many and your time and money are few. You may be purchasing your first home, having children, and getting married in the messy middle. The Money Guy show is some of the best financial planner experts out there. I have known this before. However, now I am sure that I should focus on my personal brand and investment, so I can be prepared when I turn 30. The reason why I want my personal brand and investment work to be successful is because I want to use the resource for financial freedom when I'm in my 30s and older. What does this mean? This means that I have to work hard and work smart. I should spend about 20% of my income on a trustworthy investment portfolio. I should spend 10% of my income on each of the categories of emergency fund and fund spending. Last but not least, I should spend 20% to 25% on my mortgage. Meanwhile, spend 8% to 10% of my income on car payments. The last percentage is 30% of your income. This percentage will be spent on my daily lifestyle living expenses. This means that I have to plan out my lifestyle to fit every living expense to reach or go under 30%. If you start your journey in your 20s and have a plan, you will have about 10 to 20 years to prepare for the messy middle. Your future is not only for you going back to the definition of the messy middle. Here is the reason why your responsibilities and obligations are many, but your time and money are few. This reason will always be about building your home. When I am talking about home, I am not just talking about a house or building. I'm talking about building a good relationship with your loved one and making amazing memories. Especially if you're a man right now, your job is to protect, provide, and preside. That is the reason why you become healthier, wealthier, and wiser little and little every day. Invest in your 20s so you can prepare for your 30s. Don't be selfish and only think for yourself. I will always believe that building great relationships and memories is the end goal and the final destination for everyone in this world. Why do I declare this? The reality is that there is no destination, but the only destination for every living being is passing away. With that being said, what about a happy ending? The truth is that the real happy ending is all the memories you make along the way, and not all the expensive cars, houses, and clothing you buy. When you die, the last thing you should see is your loved one who truly cares about you, and not your money. This is why we should not worry about getting rich and buying luxury items, but focus on finding, teaching, and building your great family.